Welcome to DRC Racing, a 164 Diecast racing platform. From above, you're looking at the last of the 4 Diecast models seeking to be crowned in the 2021 DRC Open Championship. From atop the big drop, I'm Big Sam, your humble racing commentator. Let's take a look at today's drivers. Leading off is Kurt Danager in the McLaren P1. Out of Japan, Kurt represents RXGT. Rallycross GT is an interactive PlayStation platform and a sponsor of the DRC. Next is Hansi Ladigan in the Porsche 911. All the way from South Africa, a humanitarian and environmentalist and diecast racing fan. Next is Elisabetta Spionai from the USA in New Diecast Racing. She'll be in the Koenigsegg Jesco. And finally, it's Lily the dog. From Lily's Boneyard Racing, an avid diecast racing fan. You can find her entering races throughout the diecast community. She'll be in the Circle Tracker, a 75th anniversary from Mattel, celebrating the NASCAR circuit. The JLH gate is down and lap 1 is underway. Danager has worked the McLaren into a big lead and will hit the big drop first. Gets a little loose but does cross the finish line for the win, followed by Elisabetta. And Lily the dog is third, and bringing up the rear, tumbling to the finish line, is Hansi. Kurt gets a little loose into the slide, kills his momentum for the bonus point, but does win the race. We do get a bonus for Elisabetta. She comes in second, and with that bonus, we'll have the same score as Kurt. Lily comes in for third. She'll get the bonus as well. And bringing up the rear was Hansi in the Porsche 911. Nosedives into the landing area, doesn't get the bonus, and tumbles a good 3 times to the back of the ramp. There's a nice snapshot of Lily the dog in the 75th anniversary Mattel edition. Let's look at the replay down the back stretch. You can see that Danager takes a big, strong lead. Lily gets a little sideways in the back and gets pushed aside by Elisabetta, and they all end up across the finish line with a couple of bonuses. Let's go to the top for lap number 2. The Reds are in front, and the JLH gate is down once again. And this time it is Lily out in front, rushing in early, followed by Elisabetta. Looks like we might have lost Hansi on the back of the front stretch. And it is the Circle Tracker down the ramp and over for a bonus and winning lap 2. Kurt tumbles across the finish line in second, followed by Elisabetta. Let's take a look at this jump by Lily. She does cross easily. A bonus and 4 points gives her 5 more. A nosedive and a tumble by Kurt Danager, the same for Elisabetta, as the Jesco barely got across the ravine for third place. The EMTs are looking in on Hansi and the Porsche. We're going to take a look at the replay down the stretch with Lily in front, handling turn 2 pretty well with Elisabetta just behind, and there's Hansi going over on his lip. Let's go back up to the top of the track for the third lap of the championship. You can see the scoreboard's very tight. 1 point separating the top 3, and we're off and running. Right now, Elisabetta had a good lead, but stalled and gets tapped by her friends, and has regained the lead over the hills and into the drop. Helicoptering across the finish line is Elisabetta. We have someone in the ravine. Alert the ravine crew. Let's take a look at the replay, and there's Elisabetta helicoptering across the finish line. Won't get the bonus, but will get the win. And helicoptering into the ravine is Hansi. That means Lily the dog coming across in second place will also earn the bonus, and Kurt Danager and the McLaren get third. A quick look at the scoreboard shows that the race is still very tight. By my calculations, Lily may have jumped into the lead by a couple of points. Let's take a look at the replay as Elisabetta gets a little sideways in the middle of the track and gets help from her colleagues and pushes her forward into the race. And there's the scoreboard. Lily the dog is in front by 2 points. Tied for second is Danager and Betta with 10 points. This fourth and final race is going to mean quite a bit. It's anybody's race. But let's not forget why we're here as well, to crown a championship. But if you predict who will win the championship, with multiple chances so far, you'll win this Matchbox 2011 Mini Countryman Cooper. Instructions and details are in the description below. The JLH gate is down for the final time into lap number 4. Elizabetta is out in front, and Lily the dog is chasing close behind. Lily has got this in control, hits the big drop, and helicopters into the ravine. Elizabetta gets across the finish line with a bonus, followed by Danager, and Hansy brings up the rear, but I think that is going to do it for the race. Oh, poor Lily the dog just didn't have the momentum off the lip of the ramp and tumbles into the ravine. Get the ravine crew on alert. You see Betta flying across the finish line for first place as a result of the ravine crash by Lily the dog, and Kurt Danager in the McLaren picks up the rear for second place. And that might be enough to send those two to the semifinals. Let's look at this replay and see what happened. There's Betta way out in front. Lily the dog is on the chase. Danager is not far behind. There's Betta again losing steam but getting pushed along, and a great maneuver by Lily to catch her and pass on the inside into the hills. This looks good. All Lily needed was third place to finish, and you see the looseness on the ramp and the momentum killed into the ravine. The crew is down there now checking her out, and there's the final score. It is Elizabetta in the Jesco winning the Group D race, but Kurt Danager and the McLaren will also advance. Unfortunately, Lily, who had a great race, just did not have enough steam to get across that ravine, who literally dropped out of the tournament on the final race on the final group. And there are your 8 semifinalists that will be advancing next week, starting with the top of the bracket and then followed by the bottom of the bracket. And for all those viewers out there that predicted correctly and are still alive, congratulations. You can see more information about the race and the tournament in the description below. Next semifinal will be Bolo Brown, followed by Superman Dion from New Zealand, and Scooter Roundwell from Spirit of 64 Racing, and finally it'll be Nathan Dever from Quick and Sick Racing. Look forward to seeing everybody next week. This would be a great time to subscribe. If you're new to the channel, click that like button. Don't forget to hit that bell so you know when the next race drops. Our sponsors, RXGT Racing and Cliff International Raceway. I'm Big Sam, your humble racing commentator. You've been watching DRC Racing, an exciting diecast racing experience. Thanks so much for stopping by. Join us next week for the beginning of the semifinals. And the password is Indian Ocean.